And here we go. Hopefully these lightning bolts will go away once we get in there. So our first band coming out is Shen. Very typical pick just because Shen is a very strong champion, because he has one of the very few globals left in the game. And that shield and the amount of damage that he can do and how much pressure he can put up in the lane is very, very strong. He doesn't lose to very many champions, but he can go toe-to-toe to a lot of them. Rise has also been banned, which is another strong pick, but he's been changed a little bit, and he's still a very, very strong pick. He's still one of the best safety middles, because he can still just build tanky, and he can still do even more damage than before. Blitzcranks are going to be the ban from Team TDA, and Morgana. These are just both two typical bans that do happen at the pro level if they're not targeted, and in high elo solo queue. Just because Blitz, he can grab that person, just pull him into the two-team fight, and then change everything, and that guy can just die instantly, and it could change the whole team fight around. Morgana is very good because her lane is very strong. She can shove very hard and then roam afterwards. But then she also has a AoE stun lockdown and her snares, which can catch people. There's also her magic resist shred. Fizz is an assassin, kind of. I believe it's targeted because I did see somebody from Intense Walrus did play a lot of Fizz. And Castin is probably another target ban, just because they are. Castin isn't generally somebody that will be banned out anymore. Our first pick for blue team, Team TDA, is Janna. Janna is very strong, but there is Soraka up, and Soraka is arguably better than Janna, but both can be used for different things. Both are still yet very, very strong. And here we have an Ashe pick, and an Ahri. Ashe and Ahri, still very good champions. There's nothing much to say. It's just Ahri's very, very strong in the hands of any kind of player that's used to her, and AP middle. And Ashe, she can long range initiate, pretty much force any kind of team fight, and it could cause problems if Ashe gets an arrow on a carry, and then it's followed up upon. Ashe's initiation is very, very strong, and still arguably one of the best in the game. After the AP and the AD carries being picked, we can expect, I guess not, I was about to say, we could expect an AP and an AD to be picked right afterwards to fight them, to counter pick Intense Walrus, but I believe we're just going to go and just pick whatever. It looks like we're going to have a Riven and Misfortune pick. Misfortune, a little bit underplayed than most other AD carries, but she's still pretty strong, but probably at the bottom of the list. She does provide a hefty amount of damage and a lot of AoE to any team. And Riven could be a jungle Riven pick or a top Riven pick. In both scenarios, Riven is very, very strong, but Riven isn't necessarily, is not very popular as a jungler, but she can still be, she's very viable in the jungle, and she can still be played in the jungle, no doubt. But her top lane is very, very strong. It looks like purple team Intense Walrus is picking up a Taric and a Reckofm. The Riven and the Reckofm pick, if that is a Riven top, they're going to be fighting each other, and when they fight, it can be pretty much, it could be even. It could go either way, because Riven doesn't build very tanky, but when she does build AD and physical damage, she's very strong. And then Reckofm's actually switching to a Pantheon pick, which isn't played very often, or Lee Sin, So let's not get my hopes up yet. But I can talk about the Tarek. Tarek is a very good support champion, but I wouldn't pick Tarek with Ashe because Ashe isn't a very kill lane. Ashe is a utility AD because she provides a lot of slow and an AoE slow, and then she has her initiation. Where Tarek, he can go all in, and he's more viable with somebody like Graves. Um, a Graves, a Vayne, Kog'Maw, Nurgot, something like that. Because Tarek can peel off, and Tarek can also burst at the same time, which just helps out. Um, so it's not necessary to pick Tarek, but it's okay because they can just chain their stuns. Tarek can stun combo burst into an Ashe arrow, and then everybody's going to be slowed, and they're going to take a lot of damage. So it should be very, very strong either way. Then we have a Lee Sin. This Lee Sin can also be jungle or top. And we have a Skarner pick and a Veigar pick on the left side for Team TDA. Skarner is more than likely going to go in the jungle because um, Skarner uses way too much mana on top. And then Veigar is good against Ahri for the stun, and Veigar can burst. This Nocturne pick would be very, very good because Nocturne is a very, very strong champion, and he provides a global, it's not really a global ult, but it could be considered a global ult that where when it turns dark, the other team cannot see. So the other team can't really help out each other because they can't see, or they may not be able to attack Nocturne's team. So Nocturne is going to be very, very strong. Both junglers, Skarner and Nocturne, jungle about the same time, and they can gank after they get both their buffs, but there's also many routes. Skarner's a little bit more blue dependent than Nocturne is, but it's perfectly fine if, well, it's, I would say that Nocturne has more differentiation and routes. And let's see, Lee Sin Riven, very Lee Sin's such a strong top laner, made very popular by CLG's Voyboy top lane, and is very, very strong. So we have a 3-minute delay, and then we'll be getting into this game. Okay, we have about a minute 30 left, and just gonna look at summoners very, very quick. Um, Ahri and Veigar, the same summoners. There's not much differentiation in middle unless you run somebody such as Karthus, because Karthus doesn't necessarily need Ignite and is better with Exhaust. So it's better for a lot of AP carries to run that Flash Ignite. Very safe. The junglers they're running the Flash Smite instead of Exhaust Smite, which is perfectly viable, but it's a little bit riskier per se, uh, because they don't have that flash to get away if they do get caught by counter jungling, if they do even counter jungle. We have MF Janna or Misfortune Janna versus Ashe and Tarek. Um, Misfortune, however, running that Ignite where Ashe is running heal. There's been a lot of debate about what's better now because heal did get nerfed a little bit. And from my personal opinion and from what I've seen, a lot of AD carries run that flash ignite as it provides much more than the heal. Because it can hurt the heal and not give as much healing off when it's activated, and it also does more damage. And you can get those kills, and then also if you spec for it, you're going to get that bonus AD or AP, so it's very, very good. Lee Sin taking teleport compared to Riven. So if Dragon does happen, then if Dragon is going to go down, and Team TDA does need this, if Team... Hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, this isn't going to work. Let's see here. Pretty much what just happened there is that the game gets shifted out and moved about, and what shift window does is just grab the screen and put it back. So I had to activate that really quick. But if there's a fight that happens at Dragon and both top laners are there, if Riven doesn't push out, Lee Sin can teleport down and instantly change that 4v4 on bottom to a 5v4, and the Dragon can go in favor of Team Intense Walrus. People are loading in a little bit slow, but it's okay. And we're going to be going into this match. This is the League of Legends Chicago tournament match versus for Intense Walrus versus TDA Tappin Dat Ashe. And I believe this is a quarterfinals match because there are 8 teams left or something like that. And then semifinals and finals will be next week, I believe on June 16th in Chicago. Live. And here we go. We are in this match and going to turn off direct camera. And let's look at these items at the start. Skarner starting off with Regrowth Pendant and a health pot, and Nocturne actually starting Cloth 5. These teams running out of their entrance. It looks like blue team has 100 more gold than red team at the moment, just because of probably support masteries. Some good swordsmanship going on. And then we have Lee Sin running health for the top lane, while Riven's running a boots pots combo. Also for bottom lane, their support, Tarek is grabbing 3 sight wards, where Janna is grabbing a vision ward and a sight ward. So Janna may be able to clear out any ward that red team just put down. So a little bit of chat. Let's turn that back on later. But just a normal start for people. Defending sides, Lee Sin probably waiting here because he predicts that Riven is going to run up through this way. And once he runs up through this way, then Lee Sin can catch the Riven and do a lot of damage. Because of that Cloth 5, Lee Sin will probably not take as much damage as Riven will. Just a very simple start. Nocturne actually not doing his wolves, but just going straight for blue. One thing that people can do for junglers is that they take the wolf camp first and then do the blue, because you have time. You have 15 seconds in between before you even have to start blue buff, and it's okay. So Riven very smart, actually just going to lane, not through river, and taking the long route around so that it doesn't get pushed. Lee Sin just Eing the wave with his Tempest / Cripple to just push the wave. Um, this could be very dangerous for Lee Sin, but it looks like he's just going to push up and back off. On bottom lane, we have very standard play, just both ADs farming, and then we have their Janna putting down a pink ward to thwart the enemy Taric away. Both junglers are doing very well right now. They're just farming. With the advantage of not taking the wolf camp, the wolf camp has already spawned for Skarner. So he's going to be a camp ahead of Nocturne because they didn't start 15 seconds earlier. We have bottom lane pushing in just a little bit. We have very, very passive gameplay. Not a lot of action is happening, but there has been some poking down, going down on bottom. Lee Sin still very shoved up to the tower, not really afraid of Skarner. And Nocturne just casually jungling, going to pick up his red at about the same time as Skarner will be. Janna's waiting in this bush just to wait off and ward for Nocturne because Nocturne still has to run the lane until he is level 6. Lee Sin probably pushed up this wave just a little bit too much just because he can't get into these CS right here and kill these creeps to get the gold. But he is at 7 CS to Riven's 12. While Riven is pushed in, Riven is ahead of Lee Sin, I'm sorry. We have a gank going on in mid, and it just looks like Skarner is just going to push off Ahri, and Ahri's just going to simply run around with... Actually, she did blow her flash, so it was a good game. It looks like Nocturne's coming down the bottom right now, but if he runs this way, he's going to be spotted by this ward. So bottom lane will know, and he actually doesn't run that way, so it looks like it's going to be from a lane gank. However, this bush is warded, but it's at the tip here, so that they won't be seen unless Nocturne rushes in. And Nocturne is going to be seen by this ward, while Skarner is also going up top, while Skarner has both buffs. Here we go. Bottom lane sees the Nocturne, but Skarner jumps in on Lee Sin on top. They both flash. Lee Sin flashes, Skarner flashes, and there's 2 slows with the red buff and the Q from Skarner, and there's going to be a first blood on top lane. Lee Sin, just from that very beginning, going to be pushed up just a little bit too far, and is going to deny himself CS. Veigar is in middle right now, and he is going to be ganked by Nocturne. Nocturne misses his Q, however, and cannot jump into Veigar, so he's not going to do a whole lot. Although Veigar is out of mana, cannot do nothing, cannot do anything, I'm sorry. It was, Tappin Dat Ashe saw that Nocturne ran up his Wraith. Skarner could have walked in and counter jungled, but he just decided to play it safe. It looks like they wanted to gank. But here's a fight going down on bottom. Taric running and Taric getting slowed by Janna. Taric healing himself, but is not going to do all that much just because we have Misfortune's Grievous Wounds on, which will decrease the amount of healing done on a target. Very scary. The lane is pushed up into red team or purple team, and looks like they're just CSing back and forth. Ashe has 23 CS compared to MF's or Misfortune's 32, and MF is doing very, very well with pushing in bottom lane very, very hard. We have Skarner walking back in the middle. Looks like he wants to gank the Ahri, and there goes the stun off by Veigar, but Skarner did not move in at the time that Veigar stunned, so there's not going to be a kill on Ahri, as she's just able to walk out. Ahri also does have 2 health pots left, but is out of mana, like Veigar is. Bottom lane is very, very passive. Janna's poking them with their tornado, just throwing a tornado every now and then. And we have a 1.7k gold, or 1.2k, or 1.1k now, 1.1k gold lead for Team TDA for the blue team. Lee Sin still pushed in up here. Lee Sin didn't also grab a ward on his way back, so he's going to be blind all the way through the river. Nocturne did buy. Skarner also bought. And Skarner got that GP5 and he's going the GP5 route. What this will do is it'll allow him to be able to farm and get even more gold as time allows. It looks like we're gonna have a lane gank on Nocturne, but I think there's no way. Blue team saw the Nocturne come in, but Nocturne may get this Janna, and Ashe doesn't follow up, and they can't kill the Janna. The problem that happened right there is that Blue team switched up, and here comes the gank on top. Actually, Lee Sin cues into the brush and sees that Skarner is coming, and Skarner grabs Lee Sin with his ultimate, but Lee Sin can just jump away with his W onto a minion, or a ward if he had one, per se. So very easy gank. Lee Sin doesn't have to blow his flash, even though it's not up, but he wouldn't have had to blow it, and he just W's out. He still has no ward, so he doesn't know if Skarner's coming back, and Skarner is coming back, as a matter of fact. And then Ahri is going to pick up this blue buff from Nocturne, so he can sustain his mana in lane and push out Veigar if he needs to. Here comes Skarner again on top lane, and then Lee Sin just W's out again. And Lee Sin is constantly checking Q in this bush, and it's hitting Skarner consistently when Skarner walks into this bush, so that he doesn't get ganked and killed. Ashe is left alone without Taric on bottom, so blue team TDA is pushing up and harassing Ashe while her support is not here. Veigar also picks up the blue buff, so it's just going to be a lot of farming in the middle, but Veigar can do some burst onto Ahri once he gets a Deathfire's Grasp to combo her for all of her health. This is really late, but a lot earlier, before the gank on top, we saw Nocturne lane gank through the lane. The problem that happened though was that blue team is pushed up, so he was seen by the creeps and he just walked in. So there's a lot of attacking going on top. Riven's actually 2 levels ahead of Lee Sin, but Riven's wave is pushing. This is just due to the fact that Lee Sin was pushed up in the middle of the game, and it's really hurting him. And there's a ward in this traverse that's really good, and they can see that Nocturne has come up to top. So Riven is actually just going to try and base it. So we're going to see if anything happens, and nothing is going to happen. Because that ward, that's a very good placed ward, and it saved Riven. They don't know that Riven went back until Lee Sin just checked right there. So Nocturne could have been clearing a camp for those 30 seconds that he was sitting up top. But because of that ward, Nocturne has wasted his time, and it looks like we're going to have a gank in middle. Ahri looking to get in position to charm Veigar, and then Nocturne is going to jump in. But Skarner is around the corner and walks into Lee Sin. Lee Sin jumping to Nocturne, and here comes the 3-man gank. Skarner gets charmed, and Skarner flashes out along with Veigar, because that could have been a very, very bad situation with 3 people there. Bottom lane, Janna is very, very low, but Ashe is also very, very low. And it looks like that MF is a little bit stronger in lane right now than Ashe, because there's one Doran's Blade ahead, and Ashe is about 15 CS behind. But Ashe's lane is pushing, so there's some CS that Ashe can't pick up. We have a lot of harassment going down onto Intense Walrus for their bottom lane, and MF is just going to ult this wave with her bullet time, and is just going to keep shoving Ashe and Taric into their tower. MF is getting a lot of good pokes down under tower. Freely. There's a tower shot there, but it's blocked by Janna shield, which is very, very good. We have wards all along the map. Dragon's warded by blue side on both entrances, while red team's ward. They have no ward on Dragon, except for this one right here, which is to ward off Skarner ganks, because Skarner has been coming mid. Lee Sin did actually pick a ward on bottom, or top lane, I'm sorry. There's a little bit of fighting going on bottom. Skarner is hanging in the wings, and they do not know Skarner's here. So blue team is pushing up, and Skarner decides that he's going to go back to jungle. So the ward died off on top, and Riven has one ward right now placed, or has one in her inventory, but it's not placed yet. So Nocturne is creeping around here, and Riven has no idea that Nocturne is on top right now. So Lee Sin's coming in, and he's just attacking the wave, AoEing it down a little bit. And then Nocturne just walked into sight. Like, there was a creep right here that was just alive, and Nocturne walked in, and Riven saw Nocturne. This Nocturne is jumping the gun just a little bit. He needs to wait till the lane's pushed up a little bit more and that there's not any creeps next to him, or he's gonna keep being seen, so he can't get his ganks off. So if he just waits a little bit, or if he would have actually stayed in this bush and ganked through there with his ult, it would have been perfectly fine. There's some more harass going on the bottom. Janna getting extremely low along with Ashe, but no kills yet. There's just a lot of harassing going on. In top lane, Riven's attacking Lee Sin again, but Lee Sin is 2 levels down because he was denied early game. And it looks like that this is really going to hurt Lee Sin, possibly. But we will see as it progresses. Riven baits the Q, because Q gets on him, and then Lee Sin can't get away. And Lee Sin doesn't have much to W2, which is his shield and his movement. So Skarner just comes in, ults, and it's game over for Lee Sin. There's a little bit of harass from Nocturne on the bottom, but it's not a whole lot. And red team does have their ward on Dragon, so now would be a really good time for blue team to get Dragon, just because they are a man down on top. But it could be also bad, just because Lee Sin does have teleport, so if there was a fight on the bottom, Lee Sin can just teleport and fight. Red team's blue buff is up, and it looks like Nocturne hasn't gotten it for Ahri yet, or Ahri hasn't gone to get it for herself. But blue team's blue buff has already been passed off to Veigar. Let's see how much AP Veigar has farmed up. So Veigar has last hitted with his Q 56 times out of his 100 CS. So it's very, very good for Veigar, because he's going to get that AP to be able to Q. And here he goes with his burst. Just a stun, a dark matter, into a primordial burst. Nocturne coming in through here, he was probably seen through this ward, or unless he ran through here, Nocturne's going to gank, but Nocturne can't see. Nocturne is way too far off for that ult, and an arrow goes off on an MF. Janna is getting slowed, and there's a flash, but Janna ults. There's another flash for Nocturne, but Janna flashes off, and then Misfortune flashes off top also. Skarner is coming into this, but gets stunned by Taric, and is slowing Nocturne. Red team is very, 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 very scared right now, and there's a flash on to Nocturne, and the ult grab. He goes down to an Ignite and a Q, and Ashe is going to go down also. That's a very good fight for blue team, as red team was they did start the fight, but because Nocturne was too far back, and when he ulted, he didn't have the range to jump into Janna and Misfortune. So Ashe and Taric ran in alone, and then Nocturne has to run up from behind because he's not in range with the ult. Veigar just stunned Ahri, and Ahri just had to use her ult. Oh no, she didn't actually. Actually, she did. Yeah, that's what I thought. Ahri was stunned before and had to use her ult, and Veigar just flashes and just used his primordial burst and his baleful strike, which is his ultimate and his Q, to finish off the Ahri. A little bit of fighting going down on top, just some trading, not a whole lot, just Riven being ahead, Lee Sin. And Riven can actually kill Lee Sin here. Here comes Riven under tower with her ult, but that's a very nice kick for Lee Sin and a very nice flash to kick her out of the way and then jump backwards so that Riven's ult does not execute Lee Sin. There's a little bit of harass on bottom because they're fighting for wards, in this area, and there's a pink ward going down for blue team to clear out the dragon ward. Now blue team has dragon coverage. Blue team just saw Nocturne on top, so blue team could rush dragon right now because they did clear the ward, but it looks like they're not choosing to. We're gonna look at some gold values right now. Blue team overall is about 6k, 6,000 gold ahead. And we have a little bit of action. Tarek getting caught out. Tarek has had the flash, but Janna tried to get ahead and ult Tarek backwards, but Tarek was too fast with that stun. Nocturne grabbing his red to make use of it, and red team is worried about their ward or their blue buff getting taken, so they ward their red. So they ward their blue. Riven is about 1.4k ahead of Lee Sin on top. Janna is how much? 200 gold ahead of Tarek. Misfortune is 1,500 gold ahead of Ashe. That is not very good because Ashe needs to be farmed for their team fights. And Skarner has picked up 3 kills and is ahead of Nocturne by 1.4k. That's also because Skarner has gold for 5s, as shown here with the Philosopher's Stone and the Heart of Gold, where Nocturne doesn't have any gold for 5. And Veigar is about 1900 ahead of Ahri because of that CS value. It looked like Skarner wants to gank. Skarner is here and Nocturne is here. They know that Nocturne is here, trying to gank them through the lane, but they're baiting it out, and red team does not know that Skarner is here. Here comes the bait. Skarner gets ult. Tarek ults. Tarek stuns. Janna's getting very low, but Skarner is here to save them. Janna does fall, but at the expense of Nocturne and Tarek. Now Ashe gets ulted by Skarner, and then Veigar is down here to clean up if necessary, but it is not. Very good team coordination going on by blue team. They pretty much counter ganked red team because red team did not know that Skarner was going to push. And here's a free dragon for blue team, and there is a top tower also. Ribbon going all in, flashing using both summoners, and Lee Sin just kicks her off. Riven not able to catch up, lock down on Lee Sin and ult. But Ahri has also ran up on top, and Riven is jumping in on Ahri. Ahri is so getting very, very low. Riven is very strong, and Ahri and Lee Sin can't do anything about it. But here comes Nocturne, and Nocturne is just going to farm his creeps, his golems. Riven is very strong right now with that BF sword, and has seen Ahri tried to contest Riven, but it was impossible because Riven's a lot stronger than Ahri is. Riven is level 14, and both of the solos of red team is only 12. Ashe and Tarek have no ward on bottom, and their tower is still up. This is a very dangerous position for bottom team. They do not know where blue team is, but they do see Janna and Misfortune around the dragon area. There is a ward on blue buff, so Veigar, Misfortune, and Janna can come in here and fight Nocturne for this blue, or try and take the blue. And the blue resets actually, but what just happened to it? Misfortune just picked it up. Here comes the burst on the Nocturne. Nocturne is a late spell shield, but there's a little bit of burst going on. Skarner grabs Ashe, and Janna splits up the team there. Nocturne able to make it out, even though he was the one to get bursted, but Skarner all locked down that Ashe and picked her off. Not looking very good right now for red team. They are 10k behind, and they are 9 kills behind, and 1 tower. And bottom lane is pushing really hard right now. And here comes a 2 tower lead. Here comes Riven's down here also. There's no way for Tarek to get out of that. Ahri actually gets caught too. MF flashes for it, but Ahri has her ult. Ahri should be safe to get out of this. Riven going a little bit far in tower range right now. They decide to back up. Lee Sin now. Lee Sin being caught out and is in here. Lee Sin eating the DFG, the Dark Matter, the stun, and everything from Veigar that he has up. And Lee Sin just dropping. A little bit of a misplay right here, and Riven actually going in for this Nocturne. They're trying to dive the Nocturne, and Riven catches it. Riven going to get extremely low from this, and Ashe, Ahri, and Taric are going to try and follow up, but they're not able to. The first tower is actually still up, and Veigar is just taking it alone with the creeps. Janna getting stunned with the oracles, and Taric getting stunned by Veigar's Event Horizon. That Dark Matter doing tons of damage. It's about 470 something without any MR, so about maybe 450 something like that. On the Taric, just doing massive amounts of damage. Veigar is a huge threat right now to the whole team. There isn't a whole lot of resistance on Red Team right now. They have a chain armor, that's about it. Ahri, Lee Sin getting both stunned and Veigar bursting, but is not enough to kill Lee Sin. That's a typical combo for Veigar. Veigar will stun with his Event Horizon, then use his W, which is the Dark Matter, and then for Q, and use his Primordial Burst. But after the stun, he'll use his DFG, which is a Deathfire's Grasp, which will do a certain percentage of the opponent's maximum life, and then simply just burst the person. Veigar shouldn't have probably used his combo on the Lee Sin. He should have done it on Ahri, because Ahri would have been a for sure kill, because Ahri only has her 30 MR, which is their base MR, compared to Lee Sin, there's 57, which is just a little bit more. Janna has some oracles, and this is going to put a lot of pressure onto Red Team, because Blue Team can just clear wards and get map control everywhere because of the oracles. So Red Team really doesn't know where Blue Team is going to be at. We have a lot of coverage in this dragon area, and then we have a little bit of poke going on in the middle, and Veigar just bursts Nocturne. Riven coming in, stunning 3 people, very good stun. There's a knock-up, and then Riven flashes into Nocturne and finishes him. Skarner is still in this, however, and it's a lot of fighting going on in between the towers. Some diving going on. Blue Team doesn't have creeps here, so they do not want to tank the tower. Very nice. We're gonna do some instant replay. Go back a little bit, slow it down a little bit more. So here we go. Riven jumping in, catching the 3. Ahri flashes just a little bit, and then Riven's gonna eat power. Lee Sin's gonna come in from behind from here, and then Nocturne's about out, but Riven flashes in. And then here just comes clean up. Veigar misses the stun, and they follow up because Skarner is tanking the tower. Now we're gonna jump to live. Okay. Well, it looks like Blue Team just got Dragon, and that's just gonna push their lead ahead. They have that Dragon timer, and they have wards everywhere. All throughout the map. Actually, it's more of their lower jungle than all throughout the map, I'm sorry. And there are no wards for Blue Team on Baron, but there is a ward for Red Team, so they know if Blue Team comes through here, they're going to see that Blue Team is going to go for Baron, and they have to fight it there. Riven's going to be spotted coming in right here, and Blue Team actually sees Red Team here. And there goes a hawk shot to make sure that Blue Team is still there and are just waiting. It looks like there's another fight that's about to go down. Veigar coming in, warding, not getting caught, but Vhagar catches Ashe. Ashe gets blown up. Nocturne is also getting hit very, very hard, but Misfortune's coming along the side to stop them. Ahri gets stunned, and Riven just follows up. Here's a triple kill from Vhagar, and Misfortune went very, very deep into their base. Misfortune tried to ult there, but is killed because of Lee Sin coming up. Taric stuns her as Misfortune's ult goes off. Riven's hitting the tower right now with Skarner and Janna behind her. I don't know why Janna and Skarner didn't poke the tower, but they could have poked the tower right there. And may have gotten it. It looks like they want to play a little bit safe. They don't want to push their luck too much, as they did just take their outer turret, or their inner turret. Nocturne coming in the top lane, just going to clear off these and push away Riven. Their ping's going down for Baron, and it looks like that they may want to do Baron. They're pinging for Janna to clear the wards if red team did have a ward around this area. Blue team is moving into position for it, and red team doesn't have an idea right now. There are wards for vengeance through the wraiths, but there is no ward for blue team on this side, and they are spotted by Ashe Arrow. Or not Ashe Arrow, Hawkshot. Nocturne jumps in, tries to steal the Baron, but is going to be punished because he did not smite it. Well, he smited but did not get it. Lee Sin flashing out, but then getting caught by Vhagar, and is going to be killed for that. Riven alone over here, fighting off a Taric and Ahri, and catches both of them, is going to just kill them off. MF ulting, and Riven just staying on. Scores 24-2, a very big gold lead, and it looks like this may be the end of the game, but they're just going to tank the bottom tower, bottom end of the tower, and try to put more pressure onto Intense Walrus. Skarner very, very tanky right now. Has that Frozen Heart, not taking very much damage with his shield on Janna's shield from the tower. Blue team not really making very many mistakes and trying not to mess up and throw the game right now because of the blue buff, or not the blue buff, the Baron buff. And they have a 23k lead over red team, so it's very hard to come back from this, but it could be done, but not very, very likely. There's a big farming gap compared to both teams. Lee Sin down about 70. Misfortune over Ashe about 80. Skarner's actually behind Nocturne, but Nocturne doesn't have any ultimate 5s, while Skarner does, so that's why Skarner will be ahead. And Vhagar, and just in terms of pure creep score, is about 100 ahead of Ahri. So creep score and kills playing a huge factor, along with the dragons and the barons. But if people are on par with farming, then they could still do very, very well. Skarner and Janna are running in, trying to hit this Nocturne, but is going to run into Ahri, and Tara can be safe. But Riven just runs around because they have no tower down the bottom. Riven jumping in, trying to stun the Nocturne, and Nocturne just gets bursted and ulted by Skarner, but Ahri gets out with her ult. There is no Misfortune here, and there's no Misfortune is coming in. There's a stun on the Ashe, and there's a DFG and a Q from Vhagar. Riven in between them, Misfortune just trying to push the tower. They're trying to fight. Looks like this will be the end of game 1 and Misfortune getting hit a little bit. Janna jumping in, saving Misfortune. Lee Sin jumping on the Misfortune to try and get a kill with the Skarner, and Misfortune finishing off Lee Sin in their fountain. And look at that damage from the Dark Matter, doing a lot of damage to Ashe and Ahri. That's going to be the end of Game 1, as it goes to Blue Team, Team Tappin Dat Ashe, or TDA. And my